on what's... Oh, never mind. The cue popped.
You have a knack for saying, oh, and maybe sometime soon we'll get it. Oh, we're in the match.
Oh, we're here. Oh, whoa!
Wait,
Do you guys
what?
see
Oh.
this?
Oh.
What's your thoughts on this, guys?
He's bringing out the Father Wong.
Mm.
Can't go wrong with a priest. That's to say the least. Father Wong going to be dropping bars. I think it's smart. I mean, disciplined priests actually are pretty good at surviving through almost anything. You can normally only kill a priest if they're crowd controlled perfectly. If they get any saving graces off in between the chain, they're going to survive. And whereas Kappa on the Holy Paladin, as soon as he runs out of cooldowns, he runs out of time. So let's see how well Wong can do on this disc priest. It's an interesting surprise. Let's see if Donut gets caught off guard.
Yeah, and we'll see if he made the Wong choice to go on the discipline priest.
It just happened. You know,
I had to.
You know, interesting choice also coming out from Balance. He is running the Panda Monk. So shout out goes to him as well.
What?
What is this game?
All right.
All right, so we're having a ridiculous melee here in the center. Both DKs have now popped their Pillar of Frost. Wong already using that pain suppression on himself, just trying to make sure he can live long enough. A couple fears coming out there. We got a just CC flying around left and right. Basically, what's going to happen through this match is the Windwalkers and Death Knights are just going to hug each other constantly in the middle of the match and try to throw occasional CC out at the healers on either side. We're just having some sort of deathmatch brawl in the center of the arena right now. Now, finally, Vellido and Trill are moving over to start putting some damage into Kappa, who does pop his wings in response, but in order to respond to that, Vellido versus Jeff moves over onto Father Wong, and they're doing the same thing, now chasing him away. So we kind of have two little mini games going on in the middle of this game. It's either the DKs and Windwalkers fighting each other, or chasing off after healers. And never do we see the entire teams together, except for actually right now. Actually, Kappa taking quite a bit of damage, has to go ahead and pop that execution sentence on himself to get out of there. Now the triple stun out onto all the members of Vellido versus Jeff. Father Wong actually cut into the full thing, now into the Fist of Fury as well. He does manage to get a quick little bubble on himself there, but is he going to be able to keep himself alive through this continued damage? It looks like the answer is yes for the time being.
Yeah, with the Discipline Priest, as soon as that stun is over, he tops himself off right away. As you can see, Kappa cannot do the same. He's dipping dangerously low. He's going to dispel that Soul Reaper and barely escape without bubbling. That bubble is his last line of defense. If TKO and Vellido can stay on Kappa a little bit longer, they might be able to take him out. Another swap over onto Father Wong, but they have to be able to kill him 100-0 in this stun lock. They do have Strangulate. He's got Stone Form, though. It's so smart. He's playing Dwarf. He's playing Disc Priest. He's just trying to take advantage of this comp matchup as much as possible, so he survives through that setup. There's no way he goes down without being stunned. We can see Trill TKO in the meantime just working at Kappa's health bar by himself. Let's see if Vellido can get over here shortly. Looks like they're splitting their damage. Vellido's just soloing Jeff. Maybe he's trying to live the dream, the true ending. We see the leg sweep over onto Father Wong, though. As long as he survives during the stuns, he will not go down. Fist of Fury follows it up into the 1 second stun. Can they keep the chain going long enough? Soul Reaper triggers, but it's not long enough, and Father Wong will survive here. He's no saving grace charges. We can see Balance still trying to chase after him, but I don't think they're going to be able to take him down. As soon as those charges come back up, saving grace back to full, Father Wong survives, and he's going to have his trinket for the next setup. In the meantime, Kappa still just getting annihilated in the backline, forced to bubble down at 18% HP. Vellido versus Jeff doing a surprisingly good job here on this Discipline Priest version. We can see Father Wong caught in that Fist of Fury, but once again, they have to kill him in the stuns. Now into the silence. He's just going to trinket out. He knows that that's the only time he's vulnerable, until he runs out of mana, at least. That's the other weakness of the Discipline Priest, but right now he's ahead of Kappa on mana. He's ahead of Kappa on cooldowns. The next setup on the Kappa might be the game, despite him even having his trinket.
Yeah, and Kappa actually just got a huge drink, too. Trill actually had to Flying Serpent Kick over to knock him out of that drink. He was down at like 5% health, so Kappa's been having to spend mana like crazy to keep alive, really kind of showing just how smart this choice was by Wong to go after the Discipline Priest instead. He's just doing such a great job. Now, though, with this Pain Suppression caught into the stun, he could just go down right here. Does not have a trinket available. He's just trying his best to get away from Jeff and Balance, who are just beating the crap out of him right now.
Kappa.
It looks like he will be able to get a heal, and in the meantime, Kappa is going to fall.
That's smart. He was so smart. Discipline Priest deals with this damage so well. And the fact that he's playing Dwarf means that he can break out that Strangulate almost every time that it comes up. and they played that smart, and he got to take advantage of playing on the Disc Priest. And yeah, Vellido versus Jeff, round 1, going in favor of Vellido.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is indeed. Sorry about that, guys. There was a hiccup in the broadcast there for just a hot minute. For whatever reason, my OBS was frozen, and so I decided to determine how to fix the OBS. I would just click a whole bunch of my scene changing buttons, and it would stop being frozen, and then you got to see everything. But there it is. You guys did get to see the end of that, which was Vellido versus Jeff taking game number 1 against Donut, and you know that adaptation coming out from Wong paying its weight in gold in game number 1. How is Donut going to react now that it is their turn to choose the map as well as the comp?
I mean, I don't even know what they can really do. I think they just have to be able to beat his Disc Priest. There's 2 ways they can do that. They can either try and set up their one-shots. I mean, they did it reasonably well. They had the Fist of Justice, even the 1-second stun, because they need it. If Wong gets any saving graces off, he's not going to go down. So if they can chain the stuns perfectly, they can take him out. Also, if they can just play a little bit longer of a game and him, they can win by him. We saw towards the end, he actually had to use 4 saving graces in a row. You can really tell a Disc Priest is getting pressured when he has to do that. It's going to reduce his healing a lot. So they were pretty close. If they could survive one more setup, maybe they could have taken him down. So Kappa's team needs to survive longer if they want to win this.
It looks so hard for them to do that. The pressure is crazy. Yeah, we're going to be going into game number 2 here, and we're going to see what map these guys are going to be choosing. Specifically, Donut is going to choose the map, and Dalaran Sewers is going to be the map choice from Donut. A smaller map than the Grand Arena. Maybe they have a plan to follow it up as well. And then we're going to get the composition lock-ins as well between Donut and Vellido versus Jeff. Now, this is a reminder, guys. This is the lower bracket series, so that means that the loser of this series will be eliminated from the tournament. This is the finals of GCD Pro League Winter, and all of these guys are fighting for their tournament lives that are currently on the line. Show you guys a quick bracket update as well. We are currently in Group A, and it's Vellido versus Jeff versus Donut, and the winner of this series will move on to face VvsJ.
And that's a hell of a prize for winning a series.
Congratulations. Yeah, that's like one of those, out of the pan and into the fire scenarios.
Yeah,
Vellido versus
exactly.
Jeff overcoming, their long-term rivals with that name. They're going to have to go on against VvsJ, and VvsJ. They're the finalists of GCD Pro League tournament number 5, so which is the last tournament that actually happened. So VvsJ have proven that they are one of the fiercest contenders of the tournament. It looks like we're going to get some relogs out from these players as they just ready up and get going before jumping into the next series.
And you figure VvsJ is actually the team that knocked Donut into the lower bracket. So if you're Donut, you can't be feeling great about your overall situation right now.
Yeah.
That even if you do come back versus Vellido versus Jeff, then you have to fight VvsJ, who you already lost 3-0 to. At least Vellido versus Jeff, if they go up against VvsJ, they'd be like, all right, well, maybe, like, obviously they would have beaten Donut in this scenario, so they can say, well, we did better than they did versus them, so maybe we're good enough to fight VvsJ. And like you can at least try to be optimistic about it that way. But if you're Donut, like obviously that match would be played tomorrow. So if Donut goes through this, then they have the evening to be like, all right, let's figure out how they can spend some time, figure out what went wrong in the matches they played earlier, try and make a comeback there, which is good. But yeah, it's still kind of a crappy situation for Donut at this point in time.
Oh yeah, VvsJ, they have that Moonkin mage that's been doing quite well, it would seem, against that Windwalker DK as well as the Feral DK. So those are the only 2 compositions that they've shown us so far in the tournament. So yeah, that is a scary position to be in for sure. But yeah, and then looking over at Group B, we have Cloud9 versus Method, which will be the next series of the night. Actually, that's going to be the last series of day 1. We're going to pick back up with this tournament tomorrow on Sunday from 5 p.m. Eastern and on. But here we go, guys. The match is ready to go, and the next map is Dalaran Sewers. I'll see you guys in a hot minute. Oh man. Now that I have to say hot minute, like I feel it's almost like unnatural. I have to like force it out now. I need the organic hot minutes in my life. But Father Wong, he's sticking on the Discipline Priest, and it looks like Donut, they are going to be playing the same composition, but they changed up their races. They went Horde.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it might give them in the edge here. Jeff's going to have an extra silence. And like I was saying, they have to CC Wong the entire duration of his health bar to take him down. Let's see if the Blood Elf silence can give them any edge. They're already gripping Father Wong in. Triple stun out. We see a lot of pressure onto Jeff, though, at the moment here. Vellido outputting quite a bit of damage. We see Fist of Fury over onto Trill TKO. Looks like they're going to be going after the Windwalker Monk in the second game here, and maybe just looking to chain CC on Father Wong instead. I don't know how well that's going to work out for them. They don't have a lot of CC. They do have a lot of damage, but Father Wong is healing through it very well here at the moment, just topping his team off, getting ready for the next attack. And pretty soon they're going to want to start putting pressure on Kappa. Maybe they're just going to grip him in. There's the grip into the triple leg sweep, going for that chi burst. Gets locked out, though, into a reverse Fist of Fury by Balance, and Trill TKO forced to trinket out to try and get some momentum, but they still haven't gotten any cooldowns. It's very important for Kappa to hold on to as many cooldowns as he can moving forward in this match.
Yeah, Saved by the Light now proccing on Jeff over here, trying to keep as much damage as he can going. Is going to go ahead and use the AMS to try and keep that pressure up as much as he can. Raisin, though, Kappa having to pop that Avenging Wrath to try and pop out some heals here. So that's the first major cooldown out of him for this match. Wong now caught into this Fist of Justice, just seems to actually be pretty fine. The Fist of Fury comes out as well, but not enough damage to really put him into anything resembling danger at that point in time. He's actually getting a Prayer of Mending cast off, which is going to help him quite a bit with keeping his team stable. And it looks like Vellido versus Jeff, they're just doing a great job of trying to keep up this constant pressure. As I say that, Trill, though, dipping down kind of low, does get the pain suppression out of Wong. That's going to keep him alive a little bit longer, and actually manages to keep him from using his Karma, which is going to be super, super important because he may need it right here. And yeah, there it is. Karma going out onto Jeff. Jeff now just trying to get away as best he can. Of course, his team's smart enough to immediately pull away as soon as they see that Karma going out, so not much damage actually transfer from that. But Jeff's still actually in quite a bit of trouble, down to 40% health. Is Kappa able to keep him up? Actually tossing out, trying to toss out a Denounce there. Does get caught into the silence real quick, and Jeff still just in so much trouble. Trill did get a little bit low there for just a second, but he just went ahead and rolled away, and then Flying Serpent kick back, no problem whatsoever. And Raisin just doing his best to keep Jeff up. Jeff now caught into that fear for just a second. Any string of CC that they can get under Raisin right now would put Jeff in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, Trill and Vellido have been splitting most of this game. Now finally both connecting as two players, but that defensive leg sweep from Balance will slow down their assault, actually forcing a trinket out from Vellido. Trill TKO getting bursted down here, but Father Wong, not crowd controlled, should be able to deal with the pressure pretty easily here. Topping him back off. We see Pillar of Frost out from Vellido, building up more pressure on Kappa. He's looking to try and lock him on his cast. Will he be able to land the interrupt? Doesn't look like he's landing it just yet. The Avenging Wrath is going to be fading, but in the meantime, Trill's just been soloing Jeff. He's already down to 47%. Kappa continually having to split his healing, slowly running out of mana. Both healers eventually going to be tapped here. This game keeps going out the way that it is. Father Wong, though, getting gripped into that Fist of Justice. Vellido's going to grip Jeff off, though, and prevent him from connecting in that stun. And it's so important that they kill him 100-0, but they're unable to. Stone Form removes the silence off of Father Wong. He's going to top himself back off. He should be able to split his healing up here, keep his team going. Defensive leg sweep out from Balance, but Kappa's running out of mana. Father Wong looking for a fear, not able to push too far forward, and really he doesn't even need to land a fear to end this game. He just needs to keep his team, his momentum going in favor. He's moving forward, though. Strangulate over onto Kappa, and it doesn't look like he's able to chain the CC. Instead, forced to Fist of Justice him. Kappa getting gripped in. No Avenging Wrath. Still his bubble, still his trinket. I mean, he's got good cooldowns remaining, but he's got no mana. Pressure on Vellido, but Father Wong isn't crowd controlled. Easily going to be able to deal with the pressure. There's the Paralyze. Now the Fist of Fury. What can they get done with the Paralyze? Not too much. Father Wong now leaving the CC, keeping his team going, and Kappa is at 8% mana. Pillar of Frost gets popped from Vellido. Fist of Fury over onto Balance. A lot of pressure. Proccing is saved by the light, and now Kappa completely tapped on mana, forced to pop his Avenging Wrath to try and get whatever healing he can squeak out. This is their last chance to kill Trill TKO. Do they have enough damage to do it? He's got Touch of Karma. It's looking so grim for Donut.
Yeah, it looks like Kappa trying to get a drink right now. And he has actually managed to sit down. He's going to get a little bit of a drink. Up at 8% mana now. Can his teammates stay alive long enough? The paralyze comes over onto him, which is going to stop that. But he does manage to get back up to 20% mana and does have a little bit of his wings left as well. So he's going to be able to top his team back off once again. Jeff does have that Karma active from Trill, who was taking quite a lot of pressure there for just a second and now trying to continue that pressure going onto Jeff. But the AMS comes out, which is going to help him a little bit versus this pressure coming out from Vellido versus Jeff. Should be feeling fine. And actually now it's Wong that's way behind on mana, down at 9% with Raisin Kappa at 15%, but spending it rapidly. As soon as I say that, he has to spend all of it. Trill dipping so low. Wong gets caught into the paralyze, and that's all it took. Down he goes.
Jeff stole Father Wong's silence and killed him with his own silence.
Oh my gosh.
The thing is that Disc Priest silence is only 2 seconds, but when you steal it, it's the same as stealing a Shadow Priest silence, so it's actually 4 seconds.
Oh my
so he
gosh.
He stole the silence and killed him with his own silence. And that's what Donut needed to do. They had to extend the game. It needed to last longer if they were going to beat the Discipline version. That's what they did.
Wow. And there you have it.
Very well done. They got the Karma out. They were able to turn it back around and get themselves the kill.
Did we lose David?
I think he's just muted to us. I hope we're not talking over top of him awkwardly.
No, we're good. Don't worry. But there you have it. It is tied 1-1 now. 1-1 between Donut and Vellido versus Jeff. And all of a sudden we have ourselves a series between these two. And Vellido versus Jeff is going into game number 3. And so... I don't know, man. Jeff stealing that silence was kind of like one of those things that you can't really count on in every scenario. I still feel like Father Wong, he was looking great with his mana pool in comparison to Kappa's. So moving forward into the game, it looked promising for 2 wins in a row for them. But the clutch moves coming out from Jeff is going to bring him back into this series, tying it up 1-1. You think we're gonna have another Windwalker DK, another series with the same compositions, or are they gonna change it up a little bit?
I think we're gonna see more of the same. Playing the Holy Paladin Mirror is actually really risky. Like the race is pretty intense, so Father Wong is a lot more safe on that Discipline Priest. And if he didn't get his silence stolen, I don't know if they had enough CC to actually kill Trill. So it was a very excellent steal from Jeff, but if he didn't get it, it wasn't looking very good. If they were able to stop that drink, I feel like they're just not pressuring Kappa enough. I mean, they should be feeling pretty immortal when there is no Fist of Justice and no Strangulate for Wong. He can just heal through the damage very easily. I'd like to see them pressure Kappa more because he had his bubble the entire game. He had his trinket the entire game. I don't think Vellido's team is playing very much to the strengths of that comp as they were in the first match where they were just going after Kappa the entire time. So I would like to see more aggression from Vellido's team, and then obviously Donut's team needs to continue what they're doing, just trying to hold on to as many cooldowns as possible, playing as greedy as possible, because the thing about playing with the Discipline Priest is they also don't have the Mastery buff, so they lose a lot of damage. Wong's team has a lot less possible DPS than Kappa's team, so if they can extend the game, they're just going to win with higher damage and eventually him. So as long as Donut can get the long game, they're looking good, and we're looking to see Vellido ending it much faster than that.
How do you feel about the swap to Horde for Donut and how it worked out for them there? Because obviously, like they picked up the Arcane Torrent on Kappa, and they got the stun reduction on, I believe, both Jeff and Balance were playing.
Only one orc.
I think
it was only one orc.
I think Jeff prefers the Arcane Torrent. For the
okay, was he on DK? Yeah, I just couldn't remember what he was playing.
Yeah, but I think that even the interrupt, the additional interrupt as well, like, because like you were saying, Supa, that when you go and you make that swap over onto Wong on his Disc Priest, you have to 100 him in those stuns. There's no if, and, or buts about it. And, having that additional Arcane Torrent will definitely, extend that for just a short amount of time, even longer, where he's not going to be able to do all that much. But here we go. We're jumping into Blade's Edge Arena. Between these two, Father Wong still sticking on that Disc Priest, and Kappa on the Holy Paladin for now. But on a map like Blade's Edge Arena, Trill TKO is the one who went down versus Donut last game, so they're bringing it to that Z axis to let him have that ability to get away potentially with his port. But Balance, he's almost notorious now at this point for being able to have those aggressive ports. It's like his port is a trap. Like, you run away from Balance and you run back around your port, and he's right there, man. He's right on your tail.
Well, I mean, they picked this map for Trill to be able to survive better. And it's going to help him a lot. Jeff doesn't have that kind of mobility that the Windwalkers do. If Trill portals back up, Jeff has to waddle all the way back up the ramp and through the bridge and the Yellow Brick Road and find the wizard to be able to get back to the Windwalker monk. So I think it's smart for Vellido versus Jeff. They saw that Donut was going after Trill a lot, so they want to give him a bit of an edge with this map. And let's see how well Trill can play the map as both teams just charge at each other again. Going to be brawling out in the center of the bridge. Let's see, wait for the death grips to initiate. We see Wong getting gripped in. The leg sweep, I think, actually missed onto Father Wong, so he's not going to get stunned up, and that's going to slow down their momentum quite a bit here. We see Kappa moving forward for the Fist of Justice, but that means he's going to eat a stun of his own out from Trill. He's forced to bop himself, but now he's on forbearance. He's still getting caught in a stun lock. Defensive paralyzed from balance into a defensive Fist of Fury is going to cause Kappa to survive. Really well played from balance. That was a close call.
Yeah, that was also his wings and execution sentence, though. So they still had to spend quite a bit to be able to survive through that, putting Donut quite a bit on the back foot, I would say, at this point. We'll see how they're able to recover from this if they are able to. Meanwhile, Wong has just been sitting pretty back over here on this side of the bridge, just able to cast whatever he feels like, no problem whatsoever. Trill now taking a little bit of damage out here in the center. It looks like Trill is once again going to be the kill target for Donut at least the majority of the time, and I think that makes sense. Trying to pull out his karma and then trying to get the pain suppression out from Father Wong could work out really well. But as we just see here, he's actually just going to go ahead and jump down, port right back up, and actually managing to pull Spud down, or excuse me, Balance down in the process. So doing a nice job of kiting and not having to actually use any cooldowns there. Now with the stun coming out onto Father Wong, he's going to go ahead and drop that pain suppression onto Trill and go ahead and keep him alive through this. The Strangulate comes out as well, and the Fists of Fury. Trill could still be in some trouble here if they get any more CC onto Father Wong, but it does not look like that's going to be the case.
Yeah, but Touch of Karma was used regardless onto Jeff, so now with no pain suppression and no Touch of Karma, Trill TKO is very exposed. Can they CC Father Wong enough, though, to force his trinket? We see a triple leg sweep. Kappa forced to use his final blessing of protection, but they're switching the pressure immediately over onto Jeff, who doesn't actually have any defensive cooldowns to survive. Balance trying to turn it around, though. Nice grip onto Father Wong, getting him stunned up by Balance's Fist of Fury. Now into the half-yard Fist of Justice onto Father Wong. Now into the Paralyzed. Good chain onto Father Wong, but not enough to get his trinket, and he should be able to recover. Full Strangulate onto Kappa. Vellido, I like this. Just playing aggressive on Kappa. This is the best way for them to end the game fast. Now, if Trill TKO could connect over here, they might be able to finish him off, as Kappa's Avenging Wrath is going to be fading here shortly. But Trill TKO just getting soloed by Balance.
Whoa!
So much damage to handle. Father Wong trinketing just a second too late. And Donut weren't falling for that map advantage. We saw only Balance chase after Trill the first time he jumped off, and then just portal back up immediately on his toes. And you can see with that extra damage, they're able to take him down pretty quickly in those little burst windows, and Donut are going to bring this series back 2-1. One more win away from eliminating Vellido.
Father Wong on the Priest, man. It's not working out, it would seem, for them, as they are now one loss away from being eliminated from the final tournament. Vellido versus Jeff and Donut. This series has been anticipated by that team name for so long. and it looks like Donut is coming out ahead here in this best of 5 series, and they're gonna go ahead and get the second win on VvsJ. Taking a quick look at that score screen for you guys to see how much damage these guys are actually pumping out. You see the 3.8 million for Vellido, and then 3.4 million for Balance, and 3.1 million for Jeff. Which is actually kind of to be expected because they are playing with different racials. They are playing, Horde. That is pretty significant, though. I don't know if that's racial significant, to be honest, though. Like 3.8 versus 3.1 on the 2 Death Knights. That could just be Trill being super slippery on a map like VvsJ.
Well, Jeff's team also has to hold on to their damage. They can't just spam it out like Vellido is, because they have to kill in stuns. So Jeff is probably saving his runic power a lot of the time, so that he has 100 runic power when they have stuns.
Control
and then unloading
damage.
just 4 frost strikes. Yeah, he's playing to save his damage because they need to kill in burst windows, whereas Vellido is aiming to just do as much damage as possible.
Yep, and it's working for him too, man. It really is. So we're gonna find out what these guys are gonna be doing on the next map.
I wonder if Maldivas should be subbed in. I don't know if. I mean, it's so weird to say, like, Disciplined Priest, Shadow Cleave. It's so weird for me to say, but, like, it might work. because the problem with Trill right now is that he can't get the damage on the targets that he needs to. So if we have Maldiva as a caster, he can just dot everybody. Holy Paladins have a natural weakness to Warlocks. Disciplined Priests seem to be pretty resilient to surviving the setup, so it could be an interesting match, and I'm wondering if maybe they want to experiment with that at all, or if they're just going to keep more of the same.
That's a fair assumption. That being said, we're talking about like the mana pools of the Disc Priest. Father Wong has been doing a great job, holding his own and like micromanaging his mana quite well, and it's been quite close in terms of how much mana these two healers have had. So going with that lock also could benefit them as well, regardless of Discipline having that mana disadvantage. But it looks like they're going to be sticking with that Windwalker DK Disc Priest composition. It did give them a pretty big advantage in game number 1. So can they do it again, though? They need to do it 2 more times in a row to take out Donut.
I mean, Donut's learning. That's the nice thing to see about this series. Like the first match looked pretty one-sided, but now they're learning where their kill windows are. Jeff's getting some clutch steals, getting some surprise bursts. Balance saved Cap at the beginning. Being on forbearance like that, he could have easily gone down. So Balance isn't getting caught off guard. Donut's playing very well. I think like Father Wong might have just dropped the ball towards that end of that match, just trinketing a little bit too late, maybe not expecting the amount of damage. So let's see if Wong can stay on top of his game and keep his team alive in potentially his final match of the tournament, right? This is elimination.
Correct.
Yeah, this could be the end of the road right here for Donut. We'll have to see if they're able to stay alive through this. Trill just marching out in there immediately under heavy fire. Going to go ahead and port back out and immediately Serpent Kick right back in. Father Wong caught into that stun there for just a second. Actually into the Fist of Fury as well. Now into the Silence. He's going to have to stone form that off, but still with that Paralyze onto him, he's now pretty low. Going to try and top himself back off, but they've swapped back over onto Trill, putting lots of damage into him as well. Meanwhile, Jeff for a second there was taking a little bit as well as Balance, but Kappa's going to go ahead and pop that Avenging Wrath and should be able to keep, he's just standing over here out in the middle of nowhere, should be able to keep his team alive, no problem. So heavy blows between both of these teams here at the start. Trill actually still taking quite a bit, gets life gripped away and immediately death grip right back into the middle of it, just trying his best to stay alive. There's the full stun onto Father Wong. Can they follow up and pull out any more cooldowns from Trill here? He's just going to go ahead and Serpent Kick away. And Father Wong's going to come out of that CC and be able to top him back off again. But Trill has just been having to play defensively this entire time. Really hasn't been able to put too much offensive pressure out. As they say that, though, that Fist of Fury actually did quite a bit of damage there to Balance.
Yeah, we can see Balance getting paralyzed on his Fist of Fury right away. Really well done from Trill to break up that cooldown. It's a big damage ability for Balance. Touch of Karma actually forced out onto Balance now as well. Maybe even aggressive Touch of Karma. Balance on the run, Trill trying to chase after him, but that freedom's going to make him really slippery and quick. Paralyzed onto Kappa. Looks like they're setting up some damage on Jeff, but he's got that AMS to prevent any incoming damage. Father Wong moving forward, landing a full fear onto Kappa. Can they force a trinket with this is the question. They force the Touch of Karma now out from Balance. Strangulate over onto Father Wong. Do they have any CC out of it? Doesn't look like they do. Trill's kiting very well. Fist of Justice onto Wong. They have to kill Trill in this stun combination if they want to take him down. It doesn't look like it's enough. Now into the Paralyzed. Donut playing very well to CC Wong this long. Now into the half leg sweep. Trill TKO kiting maybe pretty poorly here, bringing them back on top of him and forcing him to trinket and pain suppression in the same setup.
Yeah, and now Vellido versus Jeff is very much on the back foot here, as they've got nothing left for Trill. He's just trying to continue kiting as much as he possibly can. It looks like they might be swapping it over onto Vellido. No, Vellido's just been kind of rotting through incidental damage this entire time. I don't think he's actually just caught a heal in quite some time, trying to turn it back around. But Trill, once again, has to just run and hide as much as he can. Gets life gripped over, but that put him really, really close to the remaining members of Donut. Fortunately, it looks like Father Wong was able to get a bunch of healing onto him there, and now Vellido versus Jeff is starting to turn it back around onto Balance here. Balance down, getting kind of low. Kappa got caught into a Strangulate there for a second, goes ahead and trinkets that, but then immediately back into the Paralyze. Could still spell a lot of trouble here. Jeff does still have his Pillar of Frost active for a little bit longer, just trying to continue putting out damage, but Trill is doing an amazing job just kiting like crazy. Every time he's in even a little bit of trouble, he just runs away and hides, and then jumps back in once Wong can actually get some healing onto him.
Yeah, Balance going for the paralyze. Looks like they're setting up a bit of a chain on Wong, but Kappa not in position to Fist of Justice him. We see Touch of Karma again, almost offensive onto Balance, taking quite a bit of damage as a result. Kappa's almost completely tapped on mana. Father Wong looking for a fear, just sprinting after Kappa. He actually missed the fear. That's so critical here. That would have been his bubble, surely, but now Kappa gets to hold on to it and throw a Fist of Justice back into Wong's face as pressure starts mounting. Trill is forced to portal away, but Balance has his portal right on top of it as well if he wanted to go after him. Doesn't look like he does right now. Looks like they're just building up a little bit of pressure onto Vellido. Wong just sitting on top of Kappa, but he doesn't have fear, so I'm not sure exactly what he's trying to get done there. Now caught into the paralyze. Trill TKO has no touch of karma. Father Wong trying to top him back off. He will do so. The Kappa sitting down for a drink. Someone needs to stop this. They're trying to get on top of him. He gets hamstrung, slowed, out of line, and gets rooted. Kappa gets half of his mana back because of that root from Balance.
That was a huge drink for Kappa. He'd been out of mana for quite some time. I think that was why Wong was hanging around with him for so long. But then as soon as he moved away, Kappa was like, now's my time. He managed to get quite a bit of a drink in there, and that amazing root from Balance, making sure that his healer now has a bunch of mana yet again. Trill, still the target of choice from Donut, trying to put as much damage into them and as much damage into him as they can. Apparently, I cannot speak at all today. Vellido still taking a little bit of sort of incidental damage as well. I don't think they're really focusing on him. It's more just that he just takes damage from the cleave abilities like Fist of Fury, like the damage over time effects from the Death Knight, and just kind of takes damage from that. Now the stun onto Father Wong. Trill could be in some trouble here. He does have his Karma available once again, but so does Balance. Last time they just kind of traded karmas. As soon as Trill used his, he used it onto Balance and actually gets bopped off there. So his karma is no longer going to be available. Nice move there by Kappa to remove that karma right away. So now Trill's still in some trouble here. There comes the leg sweep. Father Wong doing his best to keep him alive. Do they have any CC for Wong at this point? Do they even need it? He's running out of mana so fast, but Kappa once again completely Balance could be in a lot of trouble right here. The karma comes out. Trill gets so low, and down he goes. That's going to be it. 3-0 for Donut. Or excuse me, 3-1 for Donut. They're going to end up taking this series, coming back from that 1-0 loss at the start.
There you have it. That's actually pretty incredible. Though here, let me interrupt my own replay as Vellido is still trying to fight it out here, see if he can make something happen. But no, they're just going to end up leaving. We'll go back into that replay and check it out because you know Trill TKO, he was getting so close to living there at the very end. He was on the run, but the grip's coming out, and he was just too low to be able to make it happen. And there you have it. Donut is going to move on to face WeBack in that lower bracket. You know, they're pretty scared to face WeBack, as they did get dropped down to the lower bracket because of them. And that's going to happen tomorrow, everybody. So make sure to tune in for that and see if Donut can adapt to take on WeBack.
I don't think Wong was maybe prepared to play it out on this composition. I think he chose to life grip at the end, and then Trill was rooted at the same time. So if he had used that global to Saving Grace instead, I wonder if he would have been able to get him out of touch of death range. And I mean, that match, I feel like he could maybe go for more fears. I was saying that he doesn't need to, but I think he could. If they're going to go for damaging on the DPS instead of Kappa, then Wong is pretty critical in getting CC to force cooldowns, because once again, I think Kappa still had his bubble throughout the entire match. And it's just not looking like they can get a kill because of that, aside from ooming him. And then even that, they weren't able to stop his drink. It would have been nice if, I'm not sure if Massive Spell puts you in combat, but something like Death and Decay, somebody getting ready for that drink, because if he didn't get that mana, they wouldn't have had the momentum to take the game back.
Yeah. That mana was a big deal. You know, that was pretty crazy. We were like freaking out over like a slow or like a stud, but it is such a big deal because he was able to get so much more mana back because of that. Let's take a quick look at that bracket to see what's going down next. Cloud9 versus